Good morning. Welcome back to BT. It is going to be a messy start to your morning because we have a series of issues happening now on our major highways and expressways, of course, due to the weather. And we have a series of collisions. What you're looking at right now is King Street, which is blocked in both directions from Parliament to Trinity. And that is all because of a collision involving a TTC and a snowplow. So that's what we're watching right now. We are unsure of when this will reopen, but as you can see, emergency crews are currently responding, and there's no estimated time on when this will clear, but because of a derailment in the area, it might be a while. What we're also watching on our major routes is this problem, eastbound QEW, the ramp to the 427. We have a right shoulder and now right lane blocked by emergency crews dealing with a crash in this area. So very slow on the eastbound QEW heading towards the 427. Southbound 427 ramp to the Gardner, right shoulder blocked because of a stalled vehicle. No tow truck on the scene there. And we're looking at this problem over on the eastbound 401 approaching Markham Road and the collectors. Two left lanes blocked with a crash. Emergency crews and MTO on the scene. It's not causing any heavy delays just yet, which is to the right of your screen, but it is still a very slow go. You can't undo a mortgage, so make sure it's right for you with expert mortgage advice from CIBC. The right advice for the right mortgage. That's a look at your drive. Give yourself extra time. Over to you, Frankie.
Yeah, give yourself lots of extra time. The good news is the bulk of the snowfall that we've seen is now out of here. We've seen a lot, though. We've seen almost 6 centimeters. Right now, we're sitting around the freezing mark. Going to keep an eye on that temperature as we can move from some of that snowfall over to possible rain and freezing rain. There's a look right now, so it's just starting to push its way out. Where we're seeing some wet weather this morning is already now, it's moved over through into the Niagara region, into St. Catharines at this time. Now just starting to move its way into Stony Creek. In Toronto, we got to watch out for that risk possibility of freezing rain. If you're wondering how long this lasts, as I mentioned, bulk of it's already out of here. By the time we get to about 9, we'll see a big breakup. Still with a little chance, but by 11 o'clock this morning, it's well off towards the east. And by 1, we'll probably even get into seeing a little bit of some sunshine through the later part of the afternoon. Then tomorrow, we're off into some flurry activity. Daytime highs today, warm, up to 6 degrees. Once again, the afternoon, good for travel. Tonight, we're going to be down to -5. Tomorrow, the risk of flurries at -1. Then we'll see sunshine Thursday and Friday. Thursday, cold. Friday, not bad. We're going to call that a nice day at the freezing mark. +1 as we head our way into Saturday. Cloud cover builds. Will be mainly overcast skies, but warm on Sunday at 4 degrees and +5 on Monday. So not bad overall. We just got to get through this morning, Mel. Over to you.
Thank you, Frankie. And yes, it's going to be a very busy day at Queen's Park. The legislature resumes today after its winter break. We are standing by live at Queen's Park today. So a lot going to be happening. The Ford government will be dealing with a number of issues, including the ongoing labor dispute with the teachers' unions. A major transportation announcement is set for this afternoon on building public transit. And they're also going to be preparing for next month's budget announcement, as well as the impact of the ongoing anti-pipeline protests and the coronavirus outbreak. Now, let's start here. When it comes to the education front, there are no new talks scheduled as the 4 major teachers' unions plan to hold a coordinated one-day province-wide strike on Friday. For the first time in 20 years, more than 2 million students will not be in class as the unions press their demands on the Ford government. Some of the major issues for the unions are class sizes, e-learning, and supports for students with special needs. The government, though, they say wages are the big issues. The unions asking for 2% increase, the government offering only 1%. The government also says it has no immediate plans to introduce back-to-work legislation. Hundreds of families from across the province will be holding a rally at Queen's Park this morning, urging the Ford government to provide needs-based funding to children and youth living with autism. The families say the government has broken its promise to support them and has made massive cuts to individual funding under the Ontario Autism Program. There's going to be a news conference at 10 this morning, and that's going to be followed by a rally outside. Pipeline protesters now have the backing of climate activist Greta Thunberg. The 17-year-old tweeting out this morning, support the Wet'suwet'en Nation and the pipeline protests happening now in Canada. This comes a day after a large protest made its way through Toronto's streets. The Prime Minister says he wants a quick, peaceful end to the protest, but was short on details for a plan. The protests have shut down most passenger and freight service across the country. Singapore Airlines, the latest carrier to announce temporary flight cuts to the COVID-19 crisis spreads. The airline says it is making this move as demand to parts of Asia drops off. Service to key cities like London, LA, Paris, Seoul, Sydney, and Tokyo being temporarily reduced. The airline refused to say what percentage of capacity it had cut. Singapore is dealing with over 70 cases of the COVID-19. Rival airline Cathay Pacific already announcing plans to reduce capacity by about 40% of flights due to weak demand. In New York, the Harvey Weinstein sexual assault trial goes to deliberations today. A judge will give final instructions to a jury of 7 men and 5 women for movie mogul's fate. The accusers, Weinstein did not testify. The 5 charges in this case are in connection to 2 alleged victims. More than 80 women have accused Weinstein of sexual misconduct since allegations against him sparked the Me Too movement back in October 2017.